Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to New York Islanders franchise mode here in NHL 25. So in last episode, if you did not catch it, we had quite the comeback against the Columbus Blue Jackets, as it was a very tough series for us, but we found a way to win, which was impressive. So our first game in the series, we lost 8-6. This game, we had a 4-1 lead after the first period, so it looked good, but then it fell apart quite drastically. Then we bounced back with a nice 3-1 victory, so at that point, we're not still too sure what to expect. The next two games were pretty bad, 6-2 and a 4-1 loss, so not getting good offense, not getting good defense or goaltending. So we were down 3-1, and it looked like our season was going to be done in the second round this time around instead of the conference finals. Well, we managed to respond with a 2-1 victory in overtime on a goal from Crane. Literally, it was like 20 seconds into overtime. Gives us a chance to tie the series up in the next game, and we do that on the road with a 4-1 victory. And then Game 7 was quite the game as well. It went to double overtime, and then we saw a game winner for Makinen. He sends us to the conference finals for the 6th consecutive year, and this is the first time we're not running into a Canadian team, as we're going to be playing the New Jersey Devils. So quite a nice little run at the end of that Columbus series. Hopefully the team can keep it going, because obviously we've had some really big struggles in the conference finals the last number of years. Like, this is our 6th straight conference finals appearance, and we have no series victories at this point, which is pretty insane. So maybe this is the time when the team could actually find a way to do so. We've had not the craziest offensive production. Like, we only have like a couple guys over point per game, but we are still a very solid team when our guys are actually all healthy and all that. But if we go to somebody like, say, Zane Giordano, for instance, you could see here, over these last 6 years, we've made the conference finals so many times, and we just can't find a way to get it done. This year's maybe one of the best years in terms of our defensive play, so maybe we could actually finally get a way to get to that Stanley Cup Finals again and give us a shot at a Stanley Cup again. Because, like I said, this might be one of the last chances we have, because Giordano's a pending UFA, and same also with Makinen. Also, our young goaltending tandem has actually been pretty solid for the most part. Komatov did start last round, and he was not very good in it. So we eventually decided to start turning back to Esteban Nicholas, and he's been very good as of late. So Nicholas likely will be the starting guy for this conference finals matchup. If we go to like his game logs, for instance, you could see in the series versus Columbus, he had one bad game where he posted a 750. Every other game, though, he was above a 923 save percentage. 3 of those games, he had a 970 save percentage and above. So he's been quite locked in. I'm really hoping that obviously he continues that, because if he doesn't, we might have to go back to Komatov and all that. But our young goaltending tandem has been pretty solid despite the lack of playoff experience. So excited to see what the team could do going forward. Also, hopefully we get continuous more points from the top defensemen on this team, because you can see Holmstrom, Howden, and Schaefer all have been pretty good offensively so far. So I'm hoping that they continue to drive some offense from the back end a bit, just to make it a little bit easier. So that's that. Let me show you guys what New Jersey's looking like again, just in case you forgot, and then we'll get into the comments we got from last episode. So New Jersey should be interesting. I feel like we've never played them in the postseason before. If we did, it was way back in the very early stages. I know this series is over 100 episodes at this point, so it's probably been a long time since we played them. If we did, maybe we did play them in the early stages, but this is what they look like nowadays, and it's kind of an interesting team. They do have some good threats, obviously, like Bouwmeester down the middle, Gormley, Guerrero, Suarez good, but they also do have some pieces on this team that we won't expect to do much, that might do much, like guys like Lambert, for instance, Samsonov. I think there was also some other guys that were pretty good offensively on this team, but it's a pretty good offensive core. Defensive core, obviously, Landon Dupont's really solid. Like, he could definitely help drive some offense from that back end. He's not as crazy as he was in our Draft to Glory series that we did when he was with the St. Louis Blues, but he still could pick up like 30 points as a defenseman, which is pretty good. They do have former defenseman of ours, Cristiano Pecker, who is briefly here. Not really a huge Islanders name player, but he is there at 33 years old at this point. And in their goaltending, this is definitely something that's going to be tough for us to contain, or to score on, I should say, is Vorobyov. Vorobyov so far this postseason has been absolutely locked in for them. And yeah, he's definitely on pace to maybe win a Conn Smythe if the Devils win the Stanley Cup this season. So definitely going to be tough for us to score goals on a team like this. But if we can score goals, that will definitely show that our team is ready to maybe win a Stanley Cup this season. So hopefully we could find a way to beat them. They're more of a defensive team. We are kind of like a hybrid defensive offensive team. Like, we do have offensive bursts, but we're more of a defensive first team as well. So I think it's just going to come down to which goaltender plays stronger, if it's Nicholas, if it's Vorobyov, or Komatov even, for instance, because Komatov could play some games in the series. But anyways, before we get into this conference finals, let's get into your guys' comments, see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we'll see if we could find a way to get 4 wins and get back to that cup finals again, because it's been quite some time. So the first and only comment is from Sanotaku. It says, these hour-plus long episodes always make me nervous, but that was a massive comeback. A draft of glory of continental European countries that were snubbed from 4 nations face-offs would be cool. Excluding Russia would be fine, but it's up to you if you want to include former Soviet states, Ukraine, Belarus, etc. And speaking on an hour-long episodes, yeah, the hour-long episodes, definitely I could kind of understand why you'd be a little bit stressed out about those type of episodes, because you don't know if that means, hey, the season ended, if it all of a sudden we lost in 7 games, or if we won in 7 games, something like that. So I definitely understand why like an hour-long episode always makes you like a little bit nervous. Just because you don't know really what to expect. But that's what the kind of the good thing about it, because then that way you don't really want to like skim through the entire episode. Like, if you end up like watching the series by just skipping through parts of the episode, you're gonna miss some really nice goals from, like I said, like Crane in overtime, and obviously the double OT winner that sent us here to this conference finals. So they are definitely worth the watch, even though they're long ass episodes. And what he was saying about the next series after this, we could probably just do the normal continental Europe countries. I don't know if I would include teams like Ukraine and Belarus and stuff like that. I'd probably lean towards, say, like Germany, Switzerland, I guess technically France, I guess Slovakia, stuff like that. Because if we're not doing 4 nations teams, the 4 nations teams were Czech Republic, Finland, US, and Canada, right? So probably including Slovakia would be fine for sure. Then Czech Republic, obviously, I probably wouldn't do. But it could make for an interesting series. Like, if we go back to the draft class in this series, for instance, if we were just doing continental Europe or something like that, like, we definitely get Switzerland involved. We could, I guess, technically, if we were doing teams not in 4 nations, we would be able to do Denmark, but Scandinavia is a little bit easy, so maybe we do stuff like Switzerland, for instance. We would do, what else down here? Another Switzerland player. There's Germans and stuff. There's Poland as well, technically, we could do. So there would be a lot of countries, France and all that, but maybe we want to throw in some of the other teams that wouldn't involve, like, maybe we could throw in Denmark and Norway, for instance, if we want to. Just make it anything that wasn't 4 nations. And then I would call it literally the Forgotten Nations. Rain it up like that. Call it Forgotten Nations. Even though it's not going to be 4 nations that are forgotten about, it would still just be a fun name for the series, the Forgotten Nations. And that would be like a Draft to Glory series. So ring that up. Coin that term. That might be what we end up doing. That's a kind of an interesting thing I just thought of before I recorded this episode. No, it didn't come to me on the spot right there. I just almost forgot about it, and I was like, wait a sec, that could be an interesting name for the series, Forgotten Nations. So shout out to that random idea that popped into my head this morning. But anyways, with that said, I think we're ready to get into this. Let's just make sure our lines are set up for the start of this conference finals. So I think we're pretty good in terms of our lines. I would like to keep Lehman on the top line. He's been pretty nice as an addition from San Jose, so would like to keep him there. I think I probably want to keep with this lineup. At some point, if our 4th line's playing bad defensively again, maybe we'll take Nielsen back out again. But for now, I think it's fine. The defensive core looks fine as well, and in goaltending obviously does as well. So I think this is what we're going to run going into the conference finals. We'll see how we play in our first game. Obviously, if there's a bad first game, maybe we make some adjustments right away. But if we have a good first game, obviously this lineup is maybe what we run until we hopefully get into a Cup Finals appearance again. So New Jersey's 8-2 this postseason. We're 8-4. They've been a very good team so far. Hopefully they do not beat us. They're not really considered a cheese team, but they're definitely having a really good playoffs at this point. So let's see what happens, see if we can score some goals. Game number 1 on home ice. We need to find ways to score on Vorobyov, or else it's going to be a very tough series for our team. First period. 3-1 us. Okay, well, that's getting goals on Vorobyev. They do score first. It's Guerrero. He makes it 1-0. But Mashenko, Makinen, and Mashenko, again, I'm kind of surprised Mashenko's picking up goals because he is a playmaker, so he's not really a huge goal-scoring threat, but that's a perfect first period. Obviously not good to give up the first goal of the game, but then the score 3 unanswered after that is really nice to see. Shots are 15-6 in favor of us, so that's a pretty dominant first period, kind of similar to like that first game against Columbus where we lost 8-6. So hopefully the team has a good defensive second period, kind of keeps this lead intact going into the third as well. Can we continue to have a good game so far? Second period. 4-2. Okay, we do still have a 2-goal advantage, so that's at least good. Ragnarsson made it 4-1. Lindsay gets a goal for them to make it a 4-2 game. Shots are 26-21 in favor of us. Let's lock this game down in the third period. We've been playing pretty good for the most part so far. Shots are relatively even. Let's just have a good defensive third period. Lock this down if possible. Power play for the Devils. So we kill it off. Nicely done, defensive players. Penalty kill again. Nicely done. Power play for us. And they get a goal. Guerrero makes it 4-3. That's not ideal. I thought it would have been us that scored since we just had a power play, but I guess not. Final few minutes. Power play late for us again. We do not score on it. And we managed still to win that game 4-3. Not necessarily a perfect game, but we don't really need these perfect games, and we do take game one at least to give the Devils only their third loss of the postseason so far. So final shots 40-32. It's a 4-3 game. Pretty even game, I'd say, for the most part. Not really any adjustments need to be needed after a game like that, but let's just hope that we do not allow them to try and get back into games if possible. So Mashenko from Kazanov and Jang. We had Makinen from Lehman and Houghton. Mashenko from Schaefer and Kazanov. And then Ragnarsson from Dempsey and Savage. So shout out to Mashenko. First 2 goals of the playoffs for him. So good to see him picking up some goals here in a big game. And of course, Makinen and Ragnarsson have been pretty good for this postseason. So nice to see them back on the board again. So we had Kazanov, Mashenko both on 2 points and a couple guys on 1 point. And then in terms of plus minus, only a couple -1s, which was Holmstrom and the fourth line. And in goaltending, I mean, Nicholas wasn't perfect. A .906 save percentage, though, still is much better than what he posted in one game where he posted like a .780 something. Same with Komatov. Both these guys have had rough games in this playoffs, but that's still a good enough effort where you could win games. So shout out to Nicholas. 3 stars of the game, Mashenko, Ragnarsson, and Guerrero. All right, so a solid first game. Not a crazy first game, but we do win by 1 goal, just like we did again in the last game against the Blue Jackets. So let's see if we could build upon that into Game 2 as well. At least we do have the series lead so far, which is nice, because sometimes we drop Game 1. Like, I think in the first 2 rounds. Actually, not in the first 2 rounds. In the first round, we did lose the... we lost the second game against the Rangers and didn't lose after that. Columbus, we lost the first game. And then we won the next game. Lost the next 2 again. So we've had multiple 3-game winning streaks in this postseason at this point, which is kind of interesting. So if our team gets hot at the right time, we could definitely win multiple in a row. So let's keep the team the same for Game 2. See if we could take a 2-0 series lead headed to New Jersey. So that would be absolutely huge if we could do that. So here we go. Game number 2 on home ice. Can we build off a solid first game? First period. 1-1, I'll take it. I mean, it's not as good as last first period, but they do open to scoring again. It is Bouwmeester this time around, but our captain answers back like 30 seconds later or 40 seconds later. So nice to see our captain on the board again. He's definitely been scoring a lot of goals this playoff run. That would be his 9th goal of this postseason. Shots are 12-9, so pretty even for the most part. Can we find a way to get that lead? Second period. 3-1 Devils. Oh, no, that's not good. Because, like I said, if we want to win games, we got to score goals on Vorobyev, and that's definitely not a good period. Because they are outshooting, we're outshooting them 25-16. So Vorobyev being on his game is not really what we want to see. Because if we want to win games, we have to make sure we get to Vorobyev early, basically. Because if he starts getting locked in, it's going to be really tough to score goals on him. So Lambert scores 2 goals, literally like 2 minutes apart. That's not good. We are down by a pair of goals. Can we find a way to come back in this third? We are only down by 2, so if we could score a goal early in the third, we definitely could still win this, but New Jersey's trying to steal one of our home games, so if they do take this game, we're going to need to find a way to win one of their games. So, third period underway. Can we get back into this game? Can we get back into it? Yes, we can. Lindsay gets us on the board. So there is 2 Lindsays in this here, so don't get them confused. One's on our team, one's on theirs. And Captain Crane ties the game up at 3 on the power play. A nice little third period comeback. And I don't know who took that penalty, but that was dangerous. At least we killed it off. We are completely outplaying them in this game in terms of shots. And they won it with 8 seconds left. What the hell was that? I was going to say this game's going to overtime. Cristiano Pecker just won it for the Devils with 8 seconds left. We outshot them 43-23. It literally looked like we were going to go to overtime, and I would have jumped in and watched. But 8 seconds left, former defenseman Cristiano Pecker. God damn it, man. And that might be the goal that the Devils need to get back into the series is now. Both these games have been only decided by 1 goal. So this has still been a pretty even series. But that really blows giving up a goal with 8 seconds left. Especially on your home ice too. Like, I do not like to see that. And we outshot them by 20 shots. So Vorobyev was the difference maker in that one. Completely. Damn, man. So Crane from Houghton. And we had Lindsay from Lehman and Makinen. Crane from Ragnarsson and Giordano. And then, of course, Pecker's first goal of the playoffs is against us, and it's a game winner. If letting go of Pecker comes back to bite me, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. Not going to lie. God damn, man. That's a really tough loss. And, yeah, Nicholas didn't play very good in that game. We could go to Komatov for a game 3, just to give Nicholas a break again. Crane gets first star in that loss. Lambert second star, and Pecker the third star. I've debated about going to Komatov potentially just to give a little bit of a break to Nicholas because it seems like both these goalies need a little bit of time to rest. So I think to change things up, we're going to go to Komatov for Game 3 in New Jersey. See if he could get us to win another game because we do need to win a game in New Jersey. I don't want to fall down 3-1 in the series again just like we did against Columbus. So we got to find a way to win on the road here. So I'll go to Komatov as the starter for this game. Nielsen, how has he been in the series so far? He's actually been pretty bad defensively. -3 in the first 2 games against the Devils. We're going to take Nielsen back out. Try to make ourselves a bit more defensive. And we're going to throw Russell into the lineup. Just to kind of help out the defensive play down there a bit on that bottom 6. Aside from that, I don't think there's really any changes to be made. We could always put Dempsey top line or Ragnarsson back on the top line. But I think our offensive output's been fine. It's just more about trying to contain them on that 4th line a bit better in terms of defensive play. So we'll see if Russell could help us out a little bit. He draws back in, and then Komatov comes in net for this game. Just to give Nicholas a little bit of a break, because I think Nicholas, he's not the type of goalie that could play a ton of games right now. He's getting used to still being a starting goalie, so we'll keep him out for this game, but he'll probably be back next game again. And usually when he does come back, he seems to be pretty good too. So hopefully he comes back with a little bit of a vengeance. But that was a tough game 2. Can we find a way to respond in game 3 and at least get 1 win in New Jersey? Because if we don't, we're going to be in the similar situation we were against Columbus. So first period, game 3. Scoreless. I mean, I'll take it, but we are out shooting them 17-9. And like I said, that goaltender on their team, he could be a difference maker. Last game, he basically helped them to a win, even though it was a 3 goals against for him. He basically helped them out quite a bit because the shot advantage was heavily in our favor in that one as well. So we almost doubled them up in shots. Almost getting 20 shots in the first period is pretty insane. So hopefully we can find a way to crack him in the second period because I do not really like that their goaltender's starting to heat up quite a bit. Second period. 2 on us. Okay, there we go. Gormley made it a 1-0 lead for them early on the power play. Houghton scores for us, and Crane scores as well. So Crane is on a mission. You'd love to see it. And then Houghton scoring is nice as well. These 2 guys obviously were both the, potential candidates for the captaincy at one point. We gave it to Crane. Houghton probably could get it at some point too. But it seems like Houghton's likely to retire before Crane. So, well, at least we have the right captains on this team. These 2 guys are always really good leaders on this roster. So, anyways, shots are 34-14 going into the third, but we're only up by a goal. God damn. This Vorobyev guy knows how to keep his team in games, for sure. I can see why his save percentage is so high. But it is only a 1-goal game, despite us out shooting him by 20 shots. Can Komatov have a good third period, and can we get some insurance to make me feel safe. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Let's get that third goal. Gormley ties it up at 2. Oh my goodness. Penalty kill. Kill it off, boys. Thank you. Power play for us. We do not score on it. A lot of power play opportunities in this game, it seems like. Final few minutes here of this third period. Still deadlocked at 2. And we are going to overtime this time. We're out shooting them 41-19. I swear their goaltender is literally crazy. I should probably jump into this game, but it's not an elimination game. But I think just because I know a lot of you guys like seeing gameplay of this, I might as well jump on into this and see if we could find a way to win here. It is a little bit of a risk considering this is only game 3, but we are badly outplaying him in this one. We got to find a winner. We just got to find a way to score on that elite goalie of theirs. I miss when we used to have a goalie that was actually that high of an overall, but I'm kind of surprised Vorobyev simulates good despite being that high of an overall for them. So let's get to overtime here in Game 3, New Jersey. This is a big one. If we could find a way to win here, at least we have one win on the road. And then hopefully we could find a way to win the next game as well. But face-off is Mäkinen versus Bouwmeester, as this is the first time I think we've seen them play the Devils in New Jersey in-game. Here is Mäkinen with the puck. He has an OT winner against Columbus. He finds Lehman behind the back to Crane, and a good chance there, but Vorobyev saw it. Damn. That was quite the save to start off this overtime. That's probably how this game's gone, is we've just been running around and getting a lot of chances. Crane is now tied for the team lead in points this playoff run, so shout out to our captain. So Mäkinen against Bouwmeester on the draw again. And Bouwmeester wins it this time. Here is Dodge. Dodge gets forechecked. Lehman trying to skate after DuPont can't catch up to him. Here is Guerrero. Guerrero pinned by Crane. Schaefer pokes it back into the Devil's zone. Bouwmeester over to Dodge, over to Guerrero. Schaefer gets a hit on Guerrero to not let him get past. Here is Houtanen. Houtanen kicks it up the boards over to the captain Crane. Crane with it, can't get by Guerrero. Here is Gormley, who's dangerous tonight. Finds Bouwmeester. Bouwmeester walks in, lost it, and it's now on Crane's stick again. Here comes the captain. Crane throws it to Mäkinen. Mäkinen makes a move, lost it to DuPont. This could be like overtime that goes for a while at this point. Both teams aren't getting much shots so far. Gormley walks in with it. Gormley still with it. Komatov, a big save, as Gormley has both their goals tonight, I think. So we got to watch out for that guy. That was a dangerous chance. Very dangerous. Both teams' second lines are out there now as we got Giordano on the faceoff dot against Sure. I haven't seen a Sure in a franchise mode that is generated since I had one in my Minnesota series back in NHL 18, so that's interesting. Here is the Devils. Samsonov throws it out front. Dangerous pass. Great pickoff by Schaefer. I was scared that he was going to put that into his own net there. Here's Dempsey. Dempsey can't get a shot really away. McKay with it behind the net. Here is Lambert. Up to Samsonov. Here comes Cristiano Pecker. Get it away from Pecker, man. Sure. Sure still with it. Sure walks over, finds Pecker. He scored. No, it's Samsonov that deflects it. The New Jersey Devils beat us despite us out-shooting them so much. That's a tough one, man. And of course, Pecker has to be an influence on that goal. God damn it, bro. I swear to God, if we end up losing this series, I don't really know what to do at this point. But we're only down 2-1, but that's still... I don't even know what's going on in front of this net here. But Pecker looks for the shot, and it deflects off of the knee, or off the hand. It deflects off the hand of Samsonov and in. And there is the winner. That's a tough one, man. We completely outplayed them, doubled them up in shots. Yet we still lose. God damn, bro. That's a tough one again. A third period collapse, basically. Gormley and all those dudes did too well for them. So we had Houghton from Mishenko, Crane from Gio, and Mäkinen. We need to make some adjustments. It's been a lot of one-goal games so far in the series. So we could be down 3-0. We could be up 3-0. But we're down 2-1. So their goaltender has been a difference maker. We need to find a way to get this team to win some games convincingly, hopefully. So this next game is almost a must-win game, or else we're going to have to do what we did to Columbus, which is not going to be very easy. So let's go Ragnarsson back to the top line. Lehman's going to be back on that second line with Giordano and Dempsey. Third line, we could probably keep the same. Fourth line, I'm trying to think if I want to make any adjustments on that fourth line. Nielsen's a good scorer, but having him on the fourth line is a bit of a risk. Let's just swap the sides for Russell and Savage, maybe. Actually, let's put Russell down the middle for something randomly different. I don't really know. And in the defensive pairings, we're going to go back to Carlton and Houghton, Schaefer and Holmstrom. Lindsay and Jang could still play together. And then Nicholas will return. All right. But let me take a look at Komatov's stats from that last game. How good was he technically in that one? And 857. Yeah, he wasn't very good. Maybe that was the wrong call putting Komatov back in, but maybe Nicholas needed a break. All right, so I think this is what we're going to run with for this next game, but this is almost must-win territory again. If we lose this game, it's going to be really tough to come back from 3-1. We've done it before, but it's not very easy to do multiple times. So we got to find a way to win this, and then it could be a best-of-3 going forward. So let's see what ends up happening. This is a crucial game on the road. Can we find a way to respond? And hopefully it's not another one-goal game. And also hopefully their goaltender isn't on his game like he's been the last 2 games, because he's helped them to those wins for sure. So here we go. First period, game 4. 3-0 us. Okay, well, that's definitely very convincing for us. Dempsey, Ashton, and Mashenko gives me vibes of the first game of the series. We did only win that game by 1 goal in game 1, but a very, very good start. We're being outshot 12-6, so we have 3 goals on 6 shots. Vorobyov might be already chased from the net too. So that's exactly what this team needs to do. Like I said, our offense isn't perfect in sometimes, but if we could find ways to score on guys like Vorobyov, it gives us a higher chance to win for sure. As Vorobyov, if he's making a ton of saves after the first 2 periods, you know that he's pretty dialed in. If he has a bad first period, his team needs to come from behind, and that's going to be tough for him. So can we keep this lead intact in the second period? Just do not allow them to try and get back into this game at any point. Second period. 6-1 us. Okay, well, this one might be over at this point. Gunderson made it a 3-1 game. Makinen scores, Crane scores, Makinen scores again. We're up by 5 goals going into the third. Vorobyov is still in net, despite the 6 goals against on 22 shots. What a game this has been so far from this team. Great response after last game, because last game we could have won it, but no. So this is a very back and forth series right now. Definitely good to see our offense show up and our defensive play to get much better. Let's see what happens in this third period. But looking pretty good at this point as Bouwmeester makes it a 6-2 game. Penalty kill, they make it 6-3. Don't let them come back and win 7-6, or else I might actually delete this game. Lindsay makes it 6-4. Oh boy, I do not feel safe. Nicholas is starting to buckle a lot in this third period, but maybe we're just getting too loose or too confident. Okay, there we go. Carlton makes it 7-4. That makes me feel a little bit safer. I was kind of worried. Holmstrom makes it 8-4. Not necessarily a good third period from our team, allowing the first 3 goals, but at least we got some insurance and we win 8-4. So not a very good goaltending game, but it was a good offensive game. It looked like it was going to be a much better defensive game, but the third period was not great. So we do tie the series at least. Dempsey from Lehman and Giordano, Ashton from Kazanov and Mashenkov from Jang and Kazanov, Makinen from Ragnarsson and Crane from Ragnarsson, Giordano, Makinen from Dempsey. Then we had Carlton from Ragnarsson, Holmstrom from Makinen and Schaefer. I feel like Makinen and Ragnarsson both picked up a shit ton of points in that game. And that is exactly the case. Both those guys had 3 points. Crane had 2 points. Same with Gio, Mashenko, Dempsey, and Kazanov. A couple guys on 1 point as well. Most of the team had points in that one. Houghton did not have any points, which is kind of surprising with the 8 goals. But plus minus, only 2 minus people. They were Gio and Lehman, but they both had 3 assists combined. And then, yeah, Nicholas was kind of rough mostly in that third period, but I'll take a win. He'll definitely still start the next game just because he's been the better goalie in this postseason so far. So Makinen first star, Ragnarsson second star, Crane the third star. Crane's been on a mission this conference finals. Like, he's definitely trying to give this team a chance to get to that Stanley Cup finals. So Really like that he's showing up here, and hopefully he continues to do that. All right, so we have a tie series. The LA Kings have swept the Seattle Kraken, which means whoever wins the series will be facing the LA Kings for the Stanley Cup. Interesting. I feel like LA's won a cup recently, but it might have been a number of years back. I don't know who's on the roster at this point, but that's an interesting one. Seattle getting swept. Damn. Meanwhile, our series could go 7 games at this point, so let's keep the team the same. I am hesitant about our defensive changes a bit and goaltending and all that, but our offense was fantastic last game, so hopefully we could ride that momentum into this home game and find a way to get that series lead back. So far, it's been back and forth. Let's see if we could win 2 in a row here and take our first lead of the series in quite some time. Here we go. Game 5. Let's do it for our fans, boys. First period. 3-1 Devils. Oh my goodness, man. What is this series so far? I mean, Crane gets us on the board to pull us within 2, which is good at least, but that's a rough first period. Maybe Nicholas isn't the guy for this conference finals. I don't know who is, though, because Komatov wasn't too good either in his only game so far. Ugh. The thing that sucks, though, is literally that one game we lost 4-3 to the Devils was a 8-second left goal. If we would have won that game, we'd have already the series lead at this point. But that made a difference. That OT winner made a difference. The Devils are kind of lucky to be up right now in the series. DuPont, Lindsay, though, and Samsonov for them, Crane for us. If we could get a goal back in the second period and make this a 3-2 game, or even make this a 3-3 game going into the third, that would be nice. But will it be the case? I'm not too sure. But we definitely need to find ways to score on Vorobyov. Like I said, if we aren't scoring goals early, it's going to be tough to come back from. So we need to have a good second period here. Hopefully we can build off that late goal from Crane. Second period. 3-1 still. That's not ideal, but at least we're still in this game. I would have liked to at least got 1 goal in that period, considering we didn't give up anything. Because when we do not score goals, it's definitely playing into their factor a little bit. So shots are 29-24 in favor of New Jersey. We're still down by a pair. We need a big third period here, or else we're going to be on the brink of elimination in the conference finals, as we typically are. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Hey, Ragnarsson makes it a 1-goal game. That's huge. Do we have another goal in us? Can we tie this one up? Lambert makes it 4-2. That's not a good goal to give up for Nicholas. Not a good goal at that time. God damn it, boys. Final few minutes, still down by a pair of goals. Can we find any goals in us more? The answer is no, we cannot. We lose 4-2, and the Devils have a chance to eliminate us in 6 as well. So, I am a little bit scared, because I thought our team would have had a good game after scoring 8 goals last game. But Crane scores again, of course, because he's been scoring every game against the Devils. Ragnarsson and Makinen with the assist, and then Ragnarsson from Crane and Nicholas. So the goalie picked up an assist, but we still lose. Pecker's been picking up points against us a lot, too. Oh, my goodness. This is not great. Not great to be trailing again. Bunch of -2s. We're going to have to make some sort of adjustments. Nicholas was okay in save percentage that game, but he still hasn't been super locked in. Their goalie's definitely been a difference maker in the series, so we got to do some sort of an adjustment. I'm just not sure what we need to do. We're probably going to get that sniper back in just to try and get some more offense going, but might sacrifice our defensive play a little bit. So let's go back to edit lines here, because we need to win this next game in New Jersey if we want to have a chance to win the series. So we are going to adjust our lines. We're going to take Russell back out. Actually, let me take a look at the plus minuses. And we're going to take Drouin and Delorier out. Actually, never mind, not Russell. And we are going to throw in... I could throw in Gaudette. Has Gaudette played any playoff games right now? He's played 1 regular season game, no playoff games. Gaudette's a 4-star shooter. You know what? We're going to put Gaudette instead of Nielsen. And we are going to move Gaudette. How good has Dempsey been? 15 points. He's actually been really good. Trying to think of what I want to do here. Maybe I'll keep Gaudette as a 4th-line sniper, I guess. Yeah, we'll give it a chance to Jacques Gaudette. And we'll also go to our power play and see if there's a chance I could get Gaudette on the second power play unit. Which I'm not seeing, unfortunately. I wonder if Godet will help us or not, though. He's never played a career playoff game before, but he's only played one NHL game, too. So this is a big spot for this guy, but he's literally a 4-star shooter. So hypothetically, he could score goals. Doesn't have the offensive awareness, but we're going to give him a shot because he's never played a playoff game before and see if he could extend our season a little bit. From a defensive standpoint, I am going to go back to Schaefer and Houghton and keep the rest of the defense the same. Goalies, Nicholas, we'll probably keep with Nicholas. Yeah, we'll probably keep with Nicholas, and the rest of that will stay the same. So basically the main adjustment is Drouin Delorier comes out and Russell stays in. Godet gets a chance to play in the lineup. All right. Well, that could be a bad decision. It could be a good decision. Can we force a Game 7? We got to do a real-time simulation. It kind of sucks that we're on the brink of elimination again, man. This one obviously feels a little bit different because I feel like our team should have a good chance, but this has been a really back-and-forth series. If we can find a way to win this game, it's anybody's series, but obviously if we lose this game, our season's done. So I don't really want to hop into this yet, but we got to. Game 6 in New Jersey. Can we extend our season to a Game 7 and see if we can find a way still? Let's take it one period at a time, do what we did against Columbus. We came back from 3-1. We could definitely win one game. It's a real-time sim. Come on, boys. Let's get her done. And maybe Godet can be a difference maker in this game for us. Provide some more offense or something like that. Come on, guys. We need to score goals early. And we do score a goal in the first period. That's at least good to see. Mäkinen makes it 1-0. So that's good. But obviously, like I said, scoring goals early is pretty important. So if we could get more insurance in this, that would be good. Because Vorobyov right now has been pretty good for most games. Obviously, that one game where he gave up 8 goals, not so much. But he's definitely been a strong goalie at times. So let's have a good second period here. Get some more insurance. And make sure they can't come back. Second period underway. Come on, guys. Give me another goal. Captain Crane's been good in the series, so maybe he has more in him. Trading power play chances. We get a short-handed goal from Kazanov. That's huge. Absolutely huge. Getting a short-handed goal from a guy like Kazanov is absolutely awesome. That's why he's on this team. He's a two-way forward. He could help us out on the PK. And he gives us a 2-0 lead going into the third with the shots 28-14. We head to the third period up by 2 goals. If we win this period, we go to Game 7 back on home ice. Let's see what happens. See if we can get it done. Third period underway. Come on, boys. Come on. Penalty kill here in the third period. We do have a shorthanded goal, but nothing there. Final 10 minutes of this third period. And they get on the board. Soure makes it a 1-goal game, but Lehman answers right back. Absolute clutch addition in Lehman. And that will be the difference. That short-handed goal ends up being the game-winning goal. We have tied the series. It will be now down to 1 game to decide if we go to the Cup Finals or not again. Final shots 39-23. We win 3-1. Nice little defensive effort there. And we got a couple goals as well. So Mäkinen from Crane and Ragnarsson. Then the short-handed goal is Kazanov from Crane and Schaefer. And Lehman from Houghton and Giordano. Crane, even when he's not scoring, he's like setting up his teammates. So Crane's definitely the right captain on this roster, man. He's just showing up every single game here, doing what he can to potentially get us into another Cup Finals. So shout out to him. He gets third star, Kazanov the second star, and Nicholas the first star of the game. Let's go, Nicholas. That was a big redemption win for Nicholas. He's had some really good games this playoffs. He's also had some pretty bad games. So when he does step up, it's absolutely nice. I think most of the times he wins games, he only gives up like a goal, which is pretty crazy. So it comes down to this. Whoever wins this will face off against the LA Kings. LA swept the conference finals, and this series is going to 7, which means I feel like whoever wins this game will win the Stanley Cup. That's just my hunch, just because usually if you get an easy time going into the Cup Finals, it's much harder when you actually get to the Cup Finals. If you're a team that takes like 7 games to get into the Cup Finals, usually you're stronger and well built for the Cup Finals. So I feel like that's my prediction at least. And I think I'm going to keep the team the same for Game 7, which means Godet will probably stay in. Let's just double check on how good Godet was in that first game. I don't think he was minus because There was only 1 goal against, but I do want to see what he generated in terms of chances in this playoff game. 2 shots on goal, so he did generate a couple chances. Did take some face-offs, actually won them all, which is kind of surprising. 2 giveaways, not necessarily ideal on the giveaways, but I'll take it. I'll take it. So we'll keep Shotgun Ed in the lineup. And Russell will continue to take face-offs just because Nielsen and Drouin Delorier are defensive liabilities right now. They might come back for the Cup Finals if we get there. But aside from that, this is going to be our team going into Game 7. And I'm looking to Crane. He's got 23 points now in 18 playoff games. I'm looking to him to get us to that Cup Finals. We're on home ice. We got to do it for the fans. The fans have been through a lot of heartbreak over the last 6+ years. Can we finally get it done? Real-time simulation, Game 7. Winner goes to the Cup Finals to face off against the LA Kings. Let's see what happens. Come on, guys. You got this. You got this. I believe in you, boys. We got guys like Houghton. We got guys like Crane. We could score goals. We could play good defensively at times. Let's just find a way to win this. Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties already, though. We got to be disciplined. Final few minutes here of the first period. And it's going to be scoreless after 1 with a shot 17-9. And I am a bit scared because, as I've been saying this entire series, their goaltender, when he's on his game, it's very tough for us to win. So we need to find a way here in the second period. Doesn't matter who on this roster. Could literally be a 4th line guy. Could be Russell randomly. Could be randomly a second liner. Could be a defenseman. Hopefully we can find a way here. I almost want to watch the rest of this game. But I know this episode would be way too long if we watched 2 periods, maybe overtime even. So let's see what happens. Second period, this is absolutely crucial. Let's find that first goal, boys. Let's go. Second period underway. Second period underway. Penalty kill. Stop taking penalties. Power play for us. We score first, and it's Captain Crane. Let's freaking go, man. Crane is awesome, but they do answer back. Friggin' Christ. Sawchuk makes it a 1-1 game. Power play for us. We do not score on it. The refs are giving a lot of power plays for both teams in this game so far. And it's going to be 1-1 going into the third. I might honestly watch the entire third period. It is a bit of a risk, but it's tied, and I do not feel like watching this in Sims. So I think we're going to watch the entire third and maybe overtime and beyond that too. But Captain Crane on the board again. He's been absolutely impressive in the series. So let's watch Game 7, third period. And we'll also maybe watch an overtime, depending if we go there or not. But this should be an interesting one. Should be an interesting one. I really hope we can find a way to score more goals on Vorobyev, though, because he's definitely been locked in this game. And he's giving his team a chance, which is not good. So let's hop into this third period of Game 7. Looking to get ourselves finally back to a Cup Finals again. We haven't been there in 8 years. Is this the year that we could find a way to get back there? Mackinnon first. Bouwmeester on the draw. We're on home ice too, so let's use it to our advantage, boys. Here is Guerrero for the Devils. He finds Landon DuPont with the first shot of the third period. Big save by Nicholas. That was dangerous right off the hop. Here comes Crane. He gets belted down. No penalty call in the play. Mackinnon recovers the puck. It's now with Gormley. He's got speed. Gormley, nice defensive play there. Here's Ragnarsson throwing over to Crane. Crane, he has space. Crane finds Ragnarsson, a shot and a big save by Vorobyev. Good chance there for Ragnarsson. It seems like since Ragnarson's been back on that top line, Crane has been getting going a little bit more even. So good to see Crane back. It does suck that he just got blown up in that hit, though. But at least he's still out there. Well, he's not out there right now, I guess, technically. Second line out there, Lehman, Giordano, and Dempsey. I would like to see a goal from Dempsey because he's been a little bit quiet this round, but he's still been good this entire playoffs for the most part. Here is Dodge. Dempsey just misses the hit. Dodge throws it up to DuPont. Dodge dodged the hit. I should have said that. Damn. Houghton throws it back behind his own net. It is now on the stick of Giordano. Giordano finds it to Lehman. Lehman's got speed. As he typically does, can't bust his way in. Giordano forces the guy back into his zone. And it's now on our stick. Here's Lehman. Lehman walks in a chance. I don't know if that hit the poster. That was a blocker save. But we do have full pressure. Can we keep it in their zone? Lehman running around like a rabid dog. can't get a hold of it, and they do barely get out. We almost still could get full pressure still, and we don't get back in their zone. But here's Giordano with some space. Gio can't get by the defenseman as Dodge got back. Damn. That almost looked like it could have been a good chance. Sure with it now for the Devils. Not talking about Sheldon Sure. Mishenko gets hit. He's got it back again. Throws it up, turned over, and at least it's out of the zone. Forechecking is Dempsey on McKay. McKay finds it to Lambert. Over to Pecker. Poke check nicely. And here comes the Devils now. Lambert over to Samsonov. Samsonov gets creamed. Nice hit. Holmstrom finds Kazanov. He finds Ashton. Ashton has Mishenko with them, and I don't know how that wasn't offside, but I don't care. Kazanov gets a chance, and that's turned away. Mishenko back with it again. Another chance turned away. Is Mishenko getting some good chances in tight? I don't know how that wasn't offside, but I guess it was barely onside. Lambert makes a move. Good play by Houghton. He gets it back up to Ashton. He finds Captain Crane. Crane walking in with it. Blast it. It's turned away. Crane is awesome to watch, man. Another chance for Crane, and that's turned away. Here is Sawchuk for the Devils. Makes the move. Good poke check by Houghton. Got it with it now. Up to Makinen. Makinen finds Crane. Crane walks in, shoots a blast, and Vorobyev the save. I don't know who would take a slap shot like on an odd man rush like that. Maybe Claude Giroux, but goddamn. What a blast by Crane. And he's turned away. Crane's had like 3-4 shots in just like the last 2 minutes. Definitely a fun player to watch, as now we're out shooting him in this game. Makinen wins the faceoff. Schaefer can't get a shot. Crane finds Houghton. Houghton shoots, and that's deflected wide, maybe off a skate. Schaefer keeps it in. Makinen gets forechecked, and it comes back out. Crane the first man back. He finds it to Schaefer. Schaefer up to Makinen. Makinen makes the moves, dumps it into the corner. It's now on Ragnarsson's stick. He finds it back to Crane. Crane. Schaefer. Crane! That's turned away again, as Crane's been getting so much chances in this third period. Sawchuk with it now. Sawchuk walks in. Shoots it. Turned away by Nicholas. Schaefer back up to Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson finds Crane again. Crane's got more space again. Finds Makinen, and it's turned away again. This top line's been so fun to watch. God damn. Frolov, nice hit by Schaefer as he steals it away. Schaefer will dump it back in. We got close to full pressure. If we could get a hit or something going, we might be able to get pressure soon. McKay with it, finds Delmore. He's got space. Delmore walks in, turned away by Nicholas, and Schaefer gets hit. Has to be careful as he went right back into his own net. Here is Lehman. Over to Giordano. They almost have full pressure now, too. We got to be careful about that. Oh, my God. Jang to Dempsey. Nelson Dempsey. Dempsey carrying it out wide. Throws it back, and it's turned over. Odd man, or 1-on-1. Guerrero got in. Nice defensive play by Lindsay, the youngster. And now we're back the other way again. Mishenko can't get by. Oh, my goodness. This is almost like a 3-on-3 overtime the way people are getting odd man rushes. Jang, nice defensive play. Ashton. Over to Kazanov. Kazanov finds Mishenko, but Gormley broke it up. God damn, what's with the back and forthness right now? Guerrero, a chance, big save by Nicholas as he pushed across nicely. Ashton with it now, up to Jang. Jang finds Kazanov, he's got space. Now he runs into the corner, but throws out front, a chance for Jang, and that's blocked. Sure with it now, throws it over. Landon Dupont alone, nice save, Nicholas. That was dangerous, and they have full pressure. But we do maybe get it out of the zone. Come on, just get it out of the zone. Just walk it up. There you go. Oh my God, this game is insane. Kazanov walks in with it. Turned away by Vorobyev. As we're into the final minute of this third period. Whew, this third period's gone by really quick. Not a lot of whistles. Both teams going back and forth. Oh my God. Here we go. Second lines are out there again. Giordano versus Sure on the draw. Sure wins it. McKay finds it to Pecker. Over to Lambert. Back up to Sure. Over to Samsonov. Samsonov with it. Drives out wide. Throws it back. Nobody covers McKay, but a big save by Nicholas. We got to be careful here, boys. We got to know how to play defense, too. Can't leave guys like that open. Houghton's up to 13 points. Yeah, Houghton's had a little bit of a quieter playoffs, but he's still been good. Makinen versus somebody on the draw. Makinen wins it. Crane just throws it, rocketed up to Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson to Houghton. Olli Houghton. Here is Mäkinen, a shot, and Vorobjov, another save. We almost have full pressure with 30 seconds to go. If we could win this faceoff and get a shot on goal, we might be giving ourselves a good opportunity to get a goal if we could win this draw here. So, Mäkinen again against Sawchuk, their third line. Mäkinen wins it. Schaefer. Olli Houghton in a bomb. It doesn't get through as it hits Crane in the knee. That's a hard-ass shot. Gunderson gets in with it. Gunderson shoots, turned away. Another chance, and that's turned away. Now the Devils almost have full pressure. Oh my god, bro. Get it out. Get it out. No, get it out, please. Please. Thank you. Oh my god. I always feel like when there's full pressure that they're going to find a way to win. Mäkinen gets in with it. Can't get by Gunderson. And that's going to be icing, but it's likely it's going to go to overtime. What a crazy third period. I'm glad we watched that, but man, that was stressful. Some big saves by Nicholas. Some big saves by Vorobjov. Both teams going back and forth. I don't know how this is going to end at this point. Game 7 overtime, man. Again, we went to a Game 7 double OT last round. I don't even know if we could deal with it being in the conference finals now. Crane had so many chances in that third period, too. Goddamn, let's hop on into this. This sucks, though. It's like do or die. We win this game, we go to a cup finals, we lose. It's going to be like every single year, so we got to find a way to rewrite history here. Mäkinen versus Bouwmeester on the faceoff dot. And it's a tie-up, and Crane gets to the possession of the puck. Captain Crane finds Schaefer, he finds Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson's poke-checked! Oh my goodness, how are we not playing defense on Nicholas? What a glove! He did the Statue of Liberty pose almost, even though it's technically not New York City, but that's an absolutely huge save after a brutal turnover. I don't know why our defense wasn't playing better there, but we let it a breakaway chance to start off overtime in a big save. Mäkinen versus Bouwmeester again on the dot. We do win the face-off, and we get it out. Here is Crane. He's up with Mäkinen. Crane walking in. Throws it to Houghton. Houghton finds Ragnarsson to Mäkinen. Nobody gets a shot. Now it's in front. Ragnarsson finds it. Can't get a shot to the net. That might have been a cross-check, but no penalty call. Loose puck in behind the net, and Bouwmeester digs it out. Holy crap, this game, man. Guerrero with it now. Throws it over to Landon Dupont. Big block shot. I don't know who blocked it. Dupont is way down in the offensive zone. Here's Ragnarsson. Turned away. Ragnarsson again. Schaefer can't get in. Here's Bouwmeester up to Guerrero. Houghton looking to play good defensively. What a play by Houghton. That's why he's our best defenseman. Giordano throws it. Lehman shoots. Turned away by Vorobjov. Oh my god. Oh, this is so stressful, man. So stressful. Guerrero, nice play by Carlton. Carlton makes a move. Lost it. McKay finds Samsonov. Here is Lambert. Poke check. Here's Samsonov again. Throws it in to Lambert. Turned away. Nicholas will freeze it. Oh my god. This is stressful. Giordano versus Sure on the draw. Both teams' second lines are out there again. And Gio wins it. Carlton turns it over. McKay can't get much of a shot, though. Carlton throws it up. Here is Lehman. The trade deadline acquisition. Can he be a difference maker? Lambert all the way up to McKay. We got to play defense here, boys. There we go. Carlton up to Gio. Gio finds Lehman. Lehman one-on-one shoots in for Vorobjov. Another save. As the shots are literally pretty dead even too in this one. 40-39. It's 1-1 game. Both goalies have shined so much in this game. Absolute craziness. Whew. I am stressed beyond belief. God damn, I'm surprised my heart rate on my Fitbit isn't even higher than an 83 right now. Alright, here we go. Ashton versus Sawchuk. We've got both third lines out there. Ashton wins it. We do have full pressure. Can we keep it in? The answer is no. Kazanov with the puck finds Carlton. Carlton finds Holmstrom. Back up to Ashton. Ashton can't get by. De Silva. Turned over. Ashton a chance in for Vorobjov a save. Good chance there from Ashton. Crazy turnover there by their defenseman, though, but they are lucky to have a good goalie like Vorobjov in between the pipes. All right. Still both third lines out there. Ashton's been brought in for faceoffs. Can he win another? No, he can't there. Good forecheck, though. Might keep this puck in. No, it does not. Here's Aguazane. Dumps it into the corner. Carlton Forechecked. Carlton, kick it, please. Thank you. Ashton finds it to Mishenko. Mishenko can't get by. Aguazane to Emerton. Emerton finds De Silva over to Gunderson. Gunderson can't get by Carlton. Nicely done, Carlton. Carlton throws it to Mishenko. He's had some big goals in the series. Can he score another? Can't get by. Kazanov's got it now. Kicks it into the corner. It's with Ashton. Ashton looking around. Finds Kazanov over to Houghton. Over to Schaefer. Schaefer to Ashton. Back to Houghton. A bomb. It's blocked. God damn. The amount of block shots as well in this game is crazy. Great stick by Schaefer. Kazanov will find Ashton. And he'll get it to Crane. Crane will look up. Find Kazanov. Kazanov finds it over. Turned over. Dodge throws it up. Here is Frolov. Frolov with it now. Nice poke check by Schaefer. Makinen throws it to Houghton. He finds Ragnarsson. Ragnarsson turns it over. Come on, guys. Here is Frolov. Frolov throws it over. Nice play by Houghton. Man, Houghton is so fun to watch when he plays good like that. Like, that's why he's a Norris Trophy winning defenseman. It's not just his offensive play. He makes some really solid defensive plays, too. Here is Landon DuPont. Up to Dodge. Dodge to Gormley. Come on, Houghton, get it away from him. And he makes another really good defensive play there. And he gets tripped too. Let's friggin' go. We are going to a power play with 5 minutes left here in this first overtime period. As Olli Houghton made a great defensive play. And then he gets that forward reaching. Gets tripped down. Actually, it was a different forward, not the same forward that was chasing him. But Jonathan Guerrero heads to the box. We head to the power play looking to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. Can we do it? Can we do it? We have our second unit out there of Ashton, Lehman, and Kazanov. Last time we watched the power play, it was not very effective, so hopefully this one is. Face-off is won. Here's Dempsey, a shot, and Vorobiev a big save as Nelson Dempsey gets a good shot off the point. 4 seconds into the power play, that is. Oh my god, the amount of saves both goalies have made is crazy. I don't think I've seen a game like this in quite some time. Makinen on the face-off dot as we have our top power play out there. Ragnarsson gets to the loose puck, and he'll keep it in. Ragnarsson a bomb, and that's turned away. He loves that slap shot. Here is Dempsey. Throws it to Makinen. He scores again! Kari Makinen, back-to-back series, Game 7 winners. And we are finally headed back to the Stanley Cup Finals. Makinen's a pending UFA, and he is showing that he wants to just win a Stanley Cup here and hopefully stay a long time longer. But that's an absolute huge goal. We're finally headed back to the finals. We'll face off against the LA Kings this time around. That goal will go down potentially in channel history if this team's able to find a way to win the cup this year. Like I said, though, I think whoever won that game might have won the Stanley Cup. So that's my prediction right now. I feel like we might be able to beat the Kings, but I don't know what they have on the roster. Finally, good to see Crane get that Prince of Wales again. God friggin' damn it. We finally did it. We finally have slayed the conference finals again, but we still have to win 4 more games, so hopefully the team is up for it. We've played a lot of hockey over these last 6 years, so absolute huge power play goal there. We'll definitely look back on that, even though it's just showing the replay now. We'll definitely look back at that again. That screen by Pecker, of course, does not help Vorobiev whatsoever. But a huge freaking win. We finally did it. 3 stars in that game. Crane, the third star, a goal and 5 hits. He had a lot of chances in that third period to give us the lead. Did not, but still, he's been elite. Vorobiev, the second star, not a surprise on that. He definitely gave his team a chance to win that series in a lot of those games. And then the first star of the game will be going to Esteban Nicholas, the young kid. Big 38 save performance. Oh my goodness. But that OT winner is absolutely huge. Like I said, Ragnarsson likes to slapshot us. So Makinen starts his play with a tie-up on the face-off dot. Ragnarsson gets this loose puck in. And like I said, he likes to slapshot this so much. Like, let's actually remove my face so you guys can see this maybe a bit better. Ragnarsson just loves to put shots to the net. He sees an opening, so he puts this to the net. Blockered away by Vorobiev right to the corner. Crane will hustle his way over there. Start the forecheck. Obviously, we get full pressure, too. Holmstrom then will cycle it over to Dempsey. Dempsey will throw it into Makinen. And there's a perfectly set up screen here. by Ragnarsson and also by their defenseman who was drafted by the Islanders, Cristiano Pecker. Mäkinen didn't recognizes that screen and then puts it right under the blocker, and that wins us the series and finally gets us back into the friggin' Stanley Cup Finals. Absolutely huge. We've finally gotten back there again. We're going to literally take a screenshot of this for sure, because Mäkinen's had some huge goals in this playoff run and in his career. Maybe one of the best players we've had in the series. So we finally get away back to that finals. God damn, boys. Congrats to all of you. Let's take a look at the box score in that one. So yeah, Crane from Houghton was the first goal. Nobody scored since the second period. And then Mäkinen from Dempsey and Holmstrom has sent us back to the finals. Let's go. Let's go. We finally slayed that conference finals. Oh, all it took was a lot of offseason moves and all that to get back to this finals again, but we finally got it done. Let's take a look at the player stats through the first 3 rounds, and then obviously we'll take a look at what the Kings look like and stuff, but feels so good to finally get through a conference finals. And yeah, Crane and Ragnarsson and all like the top 6 is doing a lot of good work as of late. Crane especially though, because Crane in that series was absolutely electric. 7-game series. He had a point in every single game except for game 1. But literally 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 1 assist, 5 goals, 2 assists, 5 goals, 4 assists, 6 goals, 4 assists. So in his last 6 games, Crane has 10 points. Absolutely huge from the captain. And then we have Ragnarsson, who's over point per game as well. He's been picking up a lot of points too as of late, I think. Yeah, he's had like, I guess technically 6 points in his last 4 games. And then he also had 2 points in the first 2 games. So in that series, he had 8 points in 7 games. So a lot of guys are starting to pick it up a lot, which is huge. And yeah, Mäkinen 2 game-winning goals in this playoff run. I feel like he had some in the prior playoffs as well. Yeah, he's got 12 career playoff game-winning goals. Meanwhile, in the regular season, 62. I mean, he's kind of a clutch player, I guess, all around. But friggin' Mäkinen, love this dude. Absolutely huge. But yeah, if we just look at like our forwards, for instance, like we're getting some really good scoring from our top 6 for sure. Lehman maybe a little bit more quiet as of late, but hopefully he gets going a bit. And then we got a little bit more depth scoring from like our third line in that round, which was huge. And obviously taking out like guys like Drew and Deloriers helped a lot too. So we'll probably keep Russell in net for, or not in net, in center for the conference or cup finals. Nielsen, I'm not sure if he should get back in or not. He's a solid young prospect, but he's bad defensively right now and not providing much offense. From a defensive standpoint, Houghton, Holmstrom, and Schaefer all been great. Lindsay's been great defensively, made some big plays. Carlton's been good. Jang has been probably the worst of the bunch, and Barker was good when he was in. And goalies, Nicholas has been inconsistent, but a .920 save percentage is good. So shout out to our team, man. Finally getting back to a finals again. Let's get that confirmation about being the LA Kings. As we have a conversation with our head coach, he finally has gotten us to a cup finals. We've kept him on board the entire time, and we finally get it done. Let's go. Now we just need 4 more wins, and then hopefully we have ourselves a Stanley Cup. But the LA Kings, during the regular season, finished 49-28-5. Interesting. Let's do a little comparison in the regular season and in the playoffs, and then we'll take a look at the roster, see their player stats, that type of thing. All right, so in terms of the entire league, obviously we won the President's Trophy and we're going to a Cup Finals, so that could still be a curse, but might not be. The LA Kings were the 7th best team in the NHL. They were the best team in the West, though. So that's interesting. So they were 13 points behind us, but they're the best Western Conference team. So it's literally the best West versus the best East. That's just pretty good. Goals for per game, we are both similar offensive teams in the regular season. We are just a little bit better. Goals against, we were much better. Power play percentage, they were only a little bit better. And penalty kill percentage, they were way worse. Huh. Interesting, only 3 short-handed goals. I wonder what's been going good for them in this postseason so far. Let's see. If we go entire league now, since we're actually in a cup finals, we are 12-7. They are 12-6. We have the exact same amount of goals currently in the playoffs, but we've played one more game. We have very similar goals against as well, but we've played one more game. We're a bit better defensively. Our power play has been much better this postseason than theirs, and our penalty kill has been much better. Their penalty kill has been atrocious, but they've still won games. Like, they haven't got good special teams this postseason. Huh. Very good on home ice, not as much on the road. Meanwhile, we're pretty similar in that sense. This could be a pretty even matchup based on those stats alone, but I don't really know what's on the roster, so I'm not too sure what to expect. I do see their goalie's Oscar Ranta. I don't know who else is on that team whatsoever, though. Like, is there any former Islanders on the Kings? Let's see. First line, Gilbert Thiero. I don't recognize that name at all. Philip Stewart and Timo Jaskalainen. All right. Jaska friggin' Leinen. So Jaska Leinen left us, went to Toronto, briefly got dealt to St. Louis, then he signed in LA. And he's been still scoring goals a lot. So shout out to Jaska Leinen. We might have actually saved his career by trading for him. We made him into a good goal scorer, and he's never looked back since, basically. So I think we might have actually saved the guy's career. Now he's obviously going up against us in the Cup Finals. He did not win a Stanley Cup with Toronto when he got to the finals last. Second line, Justin Thornton, Jake Connor, and Wade Savage. That might be a guy that's related to our Savage, technically. He's got over point per game, it looks like. God damn. I don't even really want to look at their stats yet, but damn. Third line, Nicholas Zetterberg, Braylon Marcoux, and Brian Reinprecht. And on a fourth line, a Tucker Cummins, Demetrius Pittis, and Jyrki Pekkarinen. That's an interesting core. It's actually pretty good in terms of depth, but they don't have like a super crazy high-end player. I mean, Thiero could be that guy, but that's crazy. All right. Defensively, they have Brophy and Neal. All right. I do remember these guys because Brophy won the Norris, I think, last season because him and Neal were fantastic defensively. Yeah, he's getting paid a shit ton of money, too. But he did win the Norris last season. Also won the Stanley Cup in 2038. So they have won the Stanley Cup recently. But yeah, these two have really good plus minuses when they play together. Second pairing has Oleg Nabokov. Why do I remember that name? Calgary. Maybe from that. Also Hector Morrow. And a top six pairing of Victor Nikushkin and Jared Shields. Yeah, the defensive core is pretty good too. Especially that top pairing. And then Nabokov is kind of underrated. I feel like I've seen him somewhere more recently. I don't know where I've seen him. Maybe he was in the free agency portion of this at one point. But that's a good defensive core, good forward group. And then they also have the good goaltender in Oscar Ranta, who's an 89 overall. And the backup is Darius Tsaugas. Interesting. Scratch, they have Alessandro Diorio. Gotta say it like that always. Israel Konopka and Gregory Cassian. Konopka, why do I remember your name? Don't know. Interesting. Yeah, that's a good team. That's a good team. I mean, their center depth isn't insane, but at least they don't have anybody that's like a 75 overall playing. They just have good depth. They have good depth. They don't have a superstar other than these two defenders, really. Or both probably each getting paid a shit ton. Like we saw Brophy was getting, how much again? 12.58. Neal's probably getting a lot too. Yeah, 11.49. Those two defensemen are going to be very, very tough. Neal's a DFD. Brophy's a two-way. Yeah. This is going to be a tough Stanley Cup Finals, no question about it. The main thing we got to do, though, is score goals against them, it seems like, and also find ways to contain Jaskalainen, it feels like a bit. Let's take a look at their player stats from regular season and playoffs so we can see who their main threats are. So the roster for the Kings, yeah, Thiero has 88 points, so he is probably a superstar level player based on that. And he will set up Jaskalainen and Savage for a lot of points. Looks like they have pretty good depth scoring on the forward side of things. Some guys were really bad plus minus during the season, though, like Zetterberg, so maybe there's some weakness. From a defensive standpoint, yeah, Brophy and Neal, plus 29, plus 31. But if we go to their stats from last season, Neil was a plus 64 last year, which is insane. He's a plus 308 in his career, which is pretty damn friggin' solid. And then Kirk Brophy was a plus 65 last season. He's also a plus 305. Have these guys played together for their entire careers? Because if they have, that's a really cool little thing. They might have. Let's see. Yeah, I think they pretty much mostly have played together their entire careers. Like, LA wasn't good, like, over a decade ago. But looks like a little bit after that, all of a sudden, really good plus minuses for, like, the last 10 plus years. Huh. And then from a goaltending perspective, Cascarena was good during the season. Yeah, this is going to be tough. And Neil also as a DFD was actually posting 47 points this season still. So, yeah, him and Brophy are crazy. They are crazy. What about playoffs so far? Who's been their best player? I'm kind of scared to go up against them, but since they swept the conference finals, I feel like we might have an easier time since we went to back-to-back Game 7s. Savage is leading them right now at 22 points, Thornton on 21, and Connor on 20, so their second line's outperforming their top line, which is a bit strange. But, yeah, they have some good production, looks like, throughout their entire lineup. And then goalies so far, Cascarena has a 917. Tasaugas has barely played, but he's been absolute trash when he has played. All right. See, I don't really know what to think about that. I think it's going to be a tougher series than it looks, but I do feel like we might have a little bit of a slight edge just because of the fact we've been to back-to-back Game 7s, but it's tough to say. Really tough to say. Let's lastly take a look at the regular season, how we did against the Kings. Just so we can kind of see how we did in those type of games. Like, well, look at the box score, too, for fun. I know this episode's already over an hour and 10 minutes. I apologize about the length. It's just fun to make these episodes a little bit extra long, but let's see. Regular season, 4-0 loss in the first meeting in LA. Actually, maybe I won't look at the box scores then. Yeah, I won't look at the box scores just because they'll also be too long. We could always look at it in the next episode if you guys want, but so we lost 4-0 in the first game. The second game we won 4-1. So tough to really say. Tough to really say. That was after we traded for Layman too. This is the last game. That first one, we didn't have Layman yet. So it could be a pretty even matchup. Could be a pretty even Cup Finals. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our New York Islanders franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the Stanley Cup Finals as we look to just get 4 more wins and find a way to win that Stanley Cup. If we could do it this year, I will feel good. We wouldn't have to win a single Stanley Cup again in the series, but this has been a very good run for this team, and now we just need to put it together by getting 4 more wins. Guys like Mäkinen have been stepping up quite hugely, so if the top line can continue doing what it's been doing, if Nicholas can put together some really solid efforts still too, I think we could find a way to win, but obviously it's going to be a tough battle since we were the best Eastern team, they were the best Western team. So think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.